I have a secret, the newly crowned Best Actress was a friend of mine in university. She followed me for 5 years but didn't like me for 5 years. One day, my family went bankrupt, and I left without a word. When we met again, I had become a food delivery worker to make a living. I was challenged by a customer, and the food spilled all over me. She happened to return in a luxury car and came to my rescue. I felt embarrassed and wanted to escape. But she stopped me. The water pipe at home is broken, come fix it. Master James, this food is not good. Do you want to eat it? The customer laughed, grabbed the bag, and threw the takeout at me. The steaming food container exploded on my head, spilling soup all over me and leaving food scattered in my hair and on my clothes. I was stunned for a moment, my apologies still on my lips. But he was clearly someone I had offended before. Now, he was just using the spilled food to deliberately make things difficult for me. This is a 5-star hotel delivery, even a little spill affects the taste. You can't expect customers to eat this, right? It originally costs $899, and I would have been generous enough not to demand compensation from other delivery workers. But today, the one delivering is our young Master James. $89999, not expensive, right? But for young Master James, it's just a bit of pocket money. He looked at me with a cold smile. After going bankrupt, I had almost no money left, all of it went to pay off debts. This amount is undoubtedly a huge compensation for me now, and I simply can't come up with that much money. I instinctively clenched my fists but couldn't vent this emotion. I could only stand there with a stiff face. Can't you come up with it? Seeing me silent, he said to the security guard who had just arrived. This delivery guy broke my stuff and refuses to pay. Think of a way for me. How about making him kneel down and apologize? What? I raised my head in humiliation, meeting his increasingly unfriendly smile. As soon as he finished speaking, the security guard raised his baton and aimed it at my leg. I was so angry that my body was almost trembling. A luxurious car slowly approached from not far away, stopping briefly as the window rolled down. A delicate and stunning face gradually came into view. The girl spoke just in time to stop the security guard's actions. What's going on? The security guard instantly ceased being aggressive and instead appeared cautious. Even the customer wore a smile. It's Miss Sophia, you're back. It's nothing, just an ignorant delivery person. I felt her gaze sweeping over me. I felt like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. I kept my head down, afraid that others would see my face. And when I say others, I only mean Sophia in the car. I had imagined many scenarios for meeting her again, but I never wanted it to be in such a disheveled situation today. But it should be a happy moment for her. The young master who once spent money to amuse her is now reduced to this. She could even mock me a bit more now, and it wouldn't be excessive, but rather expected. All I heard was Sophia speaking unhappily. The delivery person doesn't understand? Do you think you're being understanding? Do you feel great bullying a delivery person? I heard what you just said. You want to charge $89,999 for a delivery? That's quite a bold claim. Should I ask the police if this counts as a crime? Sophia's tone was so strong that the two instantly fell silent, and when they realized what was happening, they hurriedly apologized to me. I was surprised that she would actually speak up for me and glanced at Sophia in astonishment. Our eyes met, locking onto her mocking gaze. I instantly lowered my head, a wave of desolation spreading in my heart. Indeed, she wanted to humiliate me with the savior act. Bestowing charity-like favors to enjoy her current sense of superiority. I couldn't care less about the food remnants on me and quickly walked out of the community. But a person can't compete with a car. Surprisingly, the car Sophia was in turned around and chased after me, blocking my way. She frowned, her eyes flashing with sparks of anger. It's been years since we last met, and you've become increasingly impolite. Leaving without a word back then was one thing. Today, I helped you, and you can't even say thank you before running away? I remained silent. She snorted coldly. Get in the car. The water pipe at my house is broken, can you come fix it? I know Sophia won't miss the chance to mock me today. After a long pause, she finally spoke. I'm dirty. You drive, I'll just follow behind. My submissive demeanor seemed to make Sophia even more displeased. Her fingers were turning white from gripping the edge of the car window, as if she was trying to control her emotions. The car was moving very slowly. All the way, I felt an overwhelming sense of familiarity. When we arrived, I looked up and realized this was my old villa. It had actually been bought by Sophia. You live here? I was a bit surprised. Sophia remained nonchalant. Is that a problem? It's not that it's a problem. It's just that I thought she hated this place and would love to burn it down. Once inside the villa, Sophia disdainfully urged me to wash up. The maid led me to my old room, and the layout and decor were just as they had been before. It seems she has been waiting a long time for this day of revenge. The villa easily showed signs of life. She really had been living here all along. I thought of enduring hardships and seeking revenge. I'm afraid Sophia is using this method to remind herself of her unhappy past. Sophia and I were high school classmates. She was seen as a rare flower, while I was an aimless rich kid, determined to win her over. After waiting a long time, the opportunity finally came. During the crucial time for the art entrance exams in our senior year, a sudden change at Sophia's home made it impossible for them to afford her art school fees, let alone the even more expensive university tuition afterward. It's hard to pursue a path in the arts without money to back it up. When she decided to give up, I appeared like a divine savior with my bank card, ready to rescue her. At least that's what I thought at the time. I waved my black card in front of her. As long as you agree to date me, I'll cover all your tuition and living expenses. Just make me happy, and I'll get you whatever you want, whether it's a handbag or jewelry. Sophia hesitated for a moment, then nodded in agreement. On the night of the graduation ceremony, I proudly took her to show off to all my friends. As everyone congratulated me, someone said, "What high and aloof flower? Once my James skills are unleashed, they'll come knocking at my door." Actually, I noticed Sophia's pale face at that time. But I ignored it. I always knew she was a very resilient girl. I was drawn to Sophia largely for this reason at first. Unfortunately, I clearly understood her personality but still used an inappropriate approach. In the end, she followed me for 5 years but didn't like me for 5 years. It wasn't until my family went bankrupt and I left without a word that her unhappy times finally ended. And now, seeing her again, whatever she does to me, I deserve it. Cold water flows over my head, washing away the dirt on my body, along with the tears hidden in my eyes. Days of falling from the clouds to the depths are hard to bear. Former friends who once played with me have all changed their faces. I am no longer Brother James, but a burden they avoid. They either completely block me or answer my calls just to mock me. But even if it was mockery, as long as I could still get their help, I gritted my teeth and smiled through it. For these 5 years, I sacrificed everything to pay off debts. I thought I had become immune to all suffering. I didn't expect to meet Sophia again, and I found myself breaking down once more. When I walked out of the bathroom, I found a set of clothes prepared at the door, from my favorite brand 5 years ago. But now, my monthly salary can't even afford one sleeve of this jacket. With a mindset of just giving it a try, I opened the wardrobe and was surprised to see all my old clothes still hanging, and even some of the latest styles added. It was as if nothing had changed. The wardrobe quietly waited for its owner as always. An indescribable emotion surged within me. In the end, I picked the cheapest t-shirt and shorts from the wardrobe, went downstairs, and asked Sophia where the pipe was broken, preparing to get my tools. She seemed not to recognize me and stared at me. "You can still fix pipes?" I nodded. The young master who once lived in luxury can now handle not just plumbing, but also lights, toilets, and range hoods. I can even unclog drains. "If you need help, you can call me, I'll give you a discount." As soon as I finished speaking, Sophia's expression turned somewhat unpleasant for some reason. She should be happy. The person who once humiliated her with money is now forced by money to shed a layer and become someone else. "How much can you earn in a month now?" 10,000. Besides food delivery, I also take on odd jobs. I work like it's 007 every day, not stopping until I push myself to the limit. Sophia took out a bank card from her bag and waved it in front of me, just like I used to do. "I'll give you 100,000. Come work for me. Are you going to support me?" She probably wants to repay me for what I did before. This amount of money was nothing to my past self, but now I was indeed tempted. I was almost about to agree. Suddenly, a man walked in from outside and strode over to Sophia. "Sophia, I'm back. Did you miss me?" The affectionate voice belonged to the current heartthrob, William, who had co-starred with Sophia in 2 films, making them screen partners. It turns out reality also has its couples. William sat down next to Sophia and then noticed me standing aside. "Who is he?" "An old classmate." Sophia's cool voice brought my senses back. "Things are not as they used to be. She invited me today not to reminisce about the past, but to show off how well she's doing now and to put me down." Sophia and I are from two different worlds now. We shouldn't be entangled for the rest of our lives. I forced a smile. Sophia, the movie queen, saw her old classmate down on his luck and wanted to help me find a job. But it's okay, I quite like my current job. Thanks a lot, Sophia. I won't disturb you any longer, I'm heading back now. As I left, I saw William already chatting and laughing with Sophia. I used to drive a sports car out and didn't realize how large the villa area was. When I came here, I didn't feel like the road was long at all, but now I've been walking for over 10 minutes and still haven't finished. I just feel ridiculous. I annoyedly slapped my head. I forgot to take back the takeaway uniform I changed out of. Suddenly, I heard a honk from behind. I turned around to see Sophia chasing after me in a sports car. You dropped something. Why didn't you drop the person instead? I completely didn't notice what she said, my eyes were entirely drawn to that familiar red sports car. That was my car back in the day, the one I loved the most. I didn't expect she had bought it back too. I used to take her out racing in that sports car quite a bit. When we raced to the finish line, Sophia sitting in the passenger seat always looked terrified, her lips pale. As soon as the car stopped, she immediately dove into my arms seeking comfort. Only at this moment did I feel that Sophia truly had her heart and eyes on me, and not just with me for money. Thinking of this, I reached for the bag. Sophia immediately took the bag away. If you want it, get in the car. The moment I fastened my seatbelt, Sophia stepped on the gas, and the car shot forward instantly. The narrow winding road was navigated very smoothly by Sophia. Once we left the neighborhood and hit the spacious road, she immediately accelerated. The wind howled past my ears, and everything around seemed to blur, blurring back to the past. Except now, it wasn't me in the driver's seat, but Sophia. A bend lay ahead, yet Sophia didn't slow down, instead, she sped up. The car was like an arrow released from a bow. I was almost overwhelmed by the speed and thrill. Just as we approached the fence, the car came to a stop. It's been so many years since I've experienced such speed, I tentatively touched my heaving chest, still feeling jittery. Sophia smirked at me. Can you feel what I felt back then? My already pale face instantly lost all color. She really did want to get back at me. Come on, I'll let you hug me for free. You don't know how happy I was back then. I completely ignored her outstretched arms. After taking a deep breath to calm my mood, I politely said, "Thank you for the ride, but I can walk the rest of the way myself." Sophia silently stared at me for a few seconds before starting the car again. This time the ride was much smoother, and I didn't say anything more. Once we drove back to the city, Sophia asked, "Where are you living now?" "Just stop at the intersection, I can go back by myself." I didn't want to reveal my address. She kept driving, circling around the city for a while, then asked, "Did you see anything in the room?" I did. "I understand what you mean." "Do you really understand?" Sophia's voice suddenly sounded a bit excited for some reason. I chuckled self-deprecatingly. "I know you want me to recognize my current position and see my identity clearly. I'm no longer the James I used to be. And you have taken all my past status." Sophia stared at me in shock. "That's not what I meant. I wanted to tell you, Sophia, the best actress, I need to get off now." I interrupted her words. I was too blunt. I guessed what she wanted to say was that she didn't care about me anymore, and I shouldn't read too much into it. After going bankrupt, living at the bottom for so many years, the most I learned was the ways of the world. The former young Master James was arrogant and didn't need to care about these things. Everyone could be offended because no one dared to offend me. But later, I encountered those whom I had bullied before. They were just like the delivery customers I met today. I didn't recognize them at all. But they still showed me through their actions that they remembered me. And I was no longer the James from before. I originally planned to take the bus. But seeing that Sophia seemed to be following me, I changed my mind and went straight into the subway. In the evening, I focused on delivering takeout, planning to run a few more orders to make up for the losses during the day. While waiting at a traffic light, I happened to run into my buddy Tom. He excitedly asked me to check the group chat. "A rich guy is throwing around cash, hurry and grab the orders." I thought there was a red envelope, but then I found the group was in an uproar. It turned out someone had placed over 100 orders worth $500 each, searching the whole city for a delivery guy. Those who provide clues will get 10 times the reward. If you find the person directly, the reward is 100 times. Now all the delivery guys are looking for this courier. and the name provided by the rich man is James. Tom asked me. Jay, this person has the same name as you. Do you know him? I chuckled awkwardly. It's just a name. How would I know him? Sigh. We're all human, but the gap is so big. Do you think that rich guy is going all out to find him because he likes him? Or maybe he's seeking revenge? Tom got even more excited and started yelling. After delivering this order, I didn't take any more. The group was still fervently searching for James. The mysterious wealthy person is still increasing the stakes, determined to find James. I don't know who is looking for me. But she doesn't know that the year I went bankrupt, I had already changed my name. Now my ID says Leo. The next day, when I opened the door, I saw Sophia standing there, furious. Why didn't you tell me you changed your name? How long are you planning to run away? Sophia angrily pushed past me into the house, just as Tom, still groggy from sleep, walked in. She clearly didn't guess that I was now sharing a place with someone else. Seeing the Oscar-winning Sophia, who only appears on TV, in this tiny rental room made Tom's mind overload. I hurriedly took Sophia out before he could scream. Having your ex-girlfriend, with whom you have unresolved issues, blocking your door early in the morning feels like the title of a nightmare. I looked at Sophia, my head aching. So the one making such a fuss to find me is you. What do you want? Sophia glared at me. Why don't you want to be with me? Don't you already have a boyfriend? You mean William? We're just using each other. I looked at Sophia in disbelief. I know the entertainment industry is open, but I really didn't expect the once pure Jasmine to say such daring things now. What I meant was that we were just using the company contract for publicity. She could clearly see that I was thinking wrongly, and she explained almost through gritted teeth. You don't need to explain this to me, we no longer have anything to do with each other anyway. I know you still hold a grudge about what I did in the past. I was young and foolish and hurt you back then, I apologize. I know you don't like me, and I shouldn't have forced you to be with me using money. Before I could finish my sentence, something soft suddenly blocked my mouth. I could smell a familiar fragrance coming from her. My heart raced, and the air around us seemed to freeze. After a moment, Sophia gently stepped back, looked at my dazed expression, and smiled with satisfaction. All right, you finally quieted down. Now it's my turn to speak. James, when did I ever say I didn't like you? You clearly said nothing at all and just vanished. Do you remember what day it was when you left? It's our anniversary. I waited alone for you at the restaurant until it closed, but you never showed up. I only found out from others that your family went bankrupt. I went to your house to look for you, but I found that your whole family had left. Sophia's voice was filled with both grievance and anger. I was left speechless. 5 years ago, before I learned about the bankruptcy, I had dressed up to go find her. Just as I didn't know she was waiting at the restaurant, she didn't know that I was planning to propose to her that day. I prepared a 10-carat diamond ring, custom-made by a designer. But this one-of-a-kind ring was included in the liquidation list before I could see its owner. At that moment, I realized I had nothing left. What disappeared was not just all material enjoyment, but also the relationships sustained by money. Including her. So I ran away, like a stray dog. The 5 years I spent with her. The 5 years I lost her. Both were 5 years, but in the second 5 years, I spent them in pain, each second stretching infinitely. In the beginning, when I wasn't used to it, this big man would secretly cry under the covers every night. When I'm in a better mood, I find myself imagining whether Sophia feels a bit sad about my departure. So I secretly went back once. That time, I didn't see Sophia. But I was surrounded by news about her. Sophia was selected by a famous director and would soon be the lead actress in a big production. Everyone said she would soar to great heights from then on. Some were curious. What about that playboy boyfriend of hers? He dumped her, and then he went bankrupt. She's on her way to success now. I think that rich kid was holding her back. The moment he left, Sophia took off. If someone had dared to speak ill of me behind my back before, I would have made them pay. That day, I hid in a dark corner and said nothing. All my glory became a wasteland without the support of my family. Maybe they were right, I was the one holding Sophia back. Without me, she was doing well, even better. My departure probably meant that she finally broke free from her shackles. From then on, I completely buried Sophia's name in my heart. She soared to fame just as they expected with this role. So much so that I can't even avoid hearing about her. She's front-page news, a hot topic. Everyone is talking about her. Meanwhile, I'm struggling to make ends meet. During a break for lunch, I glance at the TV. Today Sophia won another award. I wipe my mouth and head to the next client's house. Now Sophia stands in front of me and says, "James, stop running away." I'm not running away, I've just come to terms with reality. I look up at Sophia and force out a cold smile. Do you really want to support me? 100,000 isn't enough, I need 1,000,000 a month. The shock in Sophia's eyes seemed ready to swallow me whole. She wanted to say something more, her lips parted slightly, but no words came out. After a long while, she was scared off. I pretended to leave casually while humming a tune, but a part of me was aching intensely. In the following days, Sophia didn't show up again. Life seemed to return to its usual hustle. Except for Tom, since that day, he kept pestering me for a signed photo of Sophia. Of course, I have nothing. Recently, I've noticed a lot of strange unfamiliar people downstairs for no reason. When I delivered takeout, the customers inexplicably stared at me. They didn't do anything, but it was uncomfortable. It felt like someone was watching me. Then one day, after finishing my delivery and getting off my scooter, I was abducted into a van. Still shaken, I realized it was William in the vehicle. He looked at me with disdain. "Your building is full of paparazzi, didn't you notice?" I rubbed my elbow and rolled my eyes. "They're all paparazzi, aren't you afraid of being caught when you abduct someone right outside my building?" William awkwardly cleared his throat. "I've already looked into you. Your real name is James, now called Leo. You used to date Sophia. Your family went bankrupt 5 years ago, and you still have a large debt to pay off." He did summarize my situation pretty accurately. "So you investigated me for what purpose? I hope you can stay away from Sophia. You two are no longer from the same world. If you need money, I can offer you some assistance. But please take the money and don't go looking for Sophia again." I scoffed. It seems Sophia thinks they are just creating hype, but William doesn't agree, he probably hopes for it to become real. I shrugged. "You're not well informed. Sophia and I have already broken off. If you want to pursue her, talking to me won't help." William's face darkened after hearing this. "You're the one who's been bothering her. Don't push your luck, do you believe I can ruin you?" The few thugs I had brought along shifted their joints, seemingly eager to try something. The air in the cramped carriage was thick with danger, which oddly made me nostalgic. Years ago, I treated others the same way. It's all karmic retribution. Just as the fist was about to hit my face, the carriage door suddenly swung open. It was Sophia. She seemed to have rushed over, a thin layer of sweat on her face, still catching her breath. Sophia glared at William. "William, if you dare to touch my people, just try it." William suddenly panicked, raising his hands to prove his innocence. The thugs immediately hit the brakes. Whose person am I? Thinking I was about to get hit, I had already closed my eyes and couldn't figure out what was happening for a moment. The anticipated punch didn't come down, instead, a soft hand touched my face. I opened my eyes to see Sophia looking at me with concern. "Are you okay?" I shook my head in confusion. After confirming I wasn't hurt, Sophia warned William. "William, I told you James is my bottom line. This is the last time, otherwise, we can forget about our collaboration." I gave Sophia a surprised glance. I didn't understand what she meant by that. I thought last time was our complete separation, where did this bottom line come from? I got out of the car, not having had the chance to ask. Suddenly, from various corners, bushes, breakfast shops, and even from the trees, a group of people armed with cameras rushed over. My strange feeling before was right, there were indeed strangers appearing. I just didn't expect they were all paparazzi attracted by Sophia. The commotion she made while looking for me last time was too loud, the paparazzi caught wind of it and came. They are now bombarding me and Sophia with questions, even ignoring William in the car. Several microphones were thrust in front of me. "What is your relationship with Sophia? Are you two dating? Was it William who started it, or you? Do you know that Sophia is dating William? Did you interfere in their relationship? Pick the soft persimmons to squeeze. This group of paparazzi is all targeting me." William couldn't take it anymore and has closed the car door. I dodged the microphones and exchanged a glance with Sophia, without any hesitation. "Run." We both took a step forward, holding hands and started to run. "Hurry, chase them." The footsteps behind us were quickly closing in. Fortunately, Sophia's car was just at the intersection. We jumped into the car, hit the gas, and left the noise behind. I looked through the rearview mirror, and the paparazzi's figures were gradually fading away. Sophia, sitting in the passenger seat, finally let out a sigh of relief. She leaned back in her seat and began to relax. When I grasped the steering wheel, a sense of calm unexpectedly surged in my heart. The vehicle drove far away. Sophia suddenly spoke up. "It's been a long time since I've sat in your passenger seat." There was a hint of uncertainty in her tone, as if she was questioning the scene before her. I glanced at her, but her gaze burned me, causing me to quickly turn away. My heart raced even more violently than before. The car was silent. Suddenly interrupted by a rapid phone ring. I pulled over by the roadside. Sophia answered the call and put it on speaker after listening for a moment. "Your photos have been exposed by the paparazzi. There were just too many people who captured them, all eager to post, leaving us no chance to buy exclusive rights. Now there's a heated discussion online about your love triangle, questioning who intervened and who cheated. We're currently drafting a PR plan. Let us know how you intend to handle this. The company's stance is to clarify your relationship with this unknown person as soon as possible." Sophia readily agreed. "We need to clarify my relationship with James immediately." Hearing her response, I lowered my head and laughed self-deprecatingly. It was a perfectly normal response. They were partners on screen and collaborators off-screen. And I was just her ex-boyfriend who once paid for her company. Clarifying our relationship as soon as possible is the best choice. But for some reason, I felt an indescribable heaviness in my heart. Since I need to distance myself, I can't appear in the same place as Sophia anymore. I'm about to get out of the car. But I heard Sophia continue. "Let's make it official. James and I have been dating since college and are ready to get married." When I heard that, my heart skipped a beat and then started racing uncontrollably, as if it wanted to break free from my chest. Sophia's agent on the other end of the line tried to argue, but Sophia hung up the phone the next second. Everything fell silent again. My thoughts were in disarray. Sophia cautiously leaned in to check my expression. I instinctively turned my face away. Her tone became somber. "I'm sorry, I didn't ask for your opinion first. This is the only way to protect your reputation. If you're unwilling, I'll think of another way later." It's fine, just go with your plan. Calm down." Only now do I realize she must be talking about a contractual relationship. Just like her and William, each getting what they need, and when the storm passes, we can announce our breakup. That's how it's written in novels. But wait a minute. Can someone tell me what is going on with this wedding? A month after my public announcement with Sophia, the curiosity about me online gradually faded. The only one still making a fuss was Tom, so I specifically got a signed photo to silence him. Just when I thought I only had to wait for the breakup, Sophia's agent suddenly informed me that the wedding venue was ready. I didn't need to prepare anything, just show up. Tonight, we can hold the wedding. My wedding with Sophia. I shook my head in disbelief. How did things develop to this point? Clearly, Sophia and I should have been two former wealthy kids and former friends who never interacted. How did we suddenly jump to getting married? Isn't it a fake couple but a real contract? I was helped by the staff to change into a complete outfit. The tailored suit felt both strange and familiar against my skin. People around me were busy adjusting the final details. I stood in front of the mirror, staring at myself, feeling a complete lack of reality. Following the staff's instructions, I stepped onto the stage. As the lights shone down, everything seemed like a slow-motion film. Sophia walked slowly towards me in a white wedding dress, the hem flowing gently around her like waves. When our eyes met, my heart began to race once again. It felt as if the entire world consisted of just the two of us. This is truly my wedding with Sophia. At this moment, I can finally confirm it. That was my most secret dream for the past 5 years. And now it is officially unfolding before my eyes. I took Sophia's hand. As if all past contradictions and misunderstandings had vanished, we were just a pure couple standing here now. When Sophia spoke into the microphone, her voice was almost choked with emotion. 5 years, I've waited for this wedding for 5 years. I finally stand by your side, becoming your bride. Next time, please don't make me wait this long again, okay? I looked at her reddened eyes, a warm current swirling in my chest. 5 years, that's the distance between us and also a witness. I'm sorry for making you wait so long. But I want you to know, you've never left my mind, you've always been in my thoughts. Sophia's tears instantly welled up. When I picked up the ring to put it on her finger, her hand was actually trembling. Is she, like me, longing for this wedding? Alright, cut. A sudden voice interrupted everything. Change the angle, let's do it again. As the words fell, various staff members hurried to the venue to start rearranging. It was then that I realized, it was just a shoot. The groom's earlier speech was quite good, try to make the emotions a bit fuller next time. A person who looked like the director patted my shoulder, expressing appreciation for my earlier performance. But I just felt embarrassed and wanted to escape. I looked at Sophia, who was touching up her makeup, and couldn't help but laugh in anger. She must be enjoying my misfortune during today's shoot. As expected of an award-winning actress, she can express such deep emotions to anyone. She wants to see me being overly sentimental, thinking that we still have a future together. Congratulations to her, she got to see it. I turned away with a dark expression. It seemed chaotic behind me. But I had no intention of considering it. I was about to head back to the dressing room to change, but unexpectedly, my manager was waiting for me there. She looked at me coldly, scrutinizing me from head to toe, then sneered. What exactly do you have that's good? A surge of uncontainable anger rose within me. If I'm so worthless, could you all stop bothering me? I hadn't even had the chance to say it out loud. When I heard her continue, why does she insist on you? I was stunned in place. The manager sighed. Today's wedding shoot was her request. She can't wait to marry you, she said, even if it's fake, she wants to experience it once, so she can have a memory when she's old and gray. She married the person she loved the most at the most beautiful age. I stood there, overwhelmed by an incredible feeling that was both bittersweet. A sound came from behind me. I turned to see Sophia walking in through the door. She looked at me with tears, feeling helpless and wronged. It took me a long time to find my voice. Is what she said really true? The agent had already left at some point. Only Sophia and I remained in the room. I saw her nod heavily at me, and the deeply rooted thoughts in my mind suddenly shattered. I started to panic. Don't you hate me? I forced you with money and even deliberately made fun of you. Sophia shook her head, her gaze softening. You are still as gentle as James was 5 years ago. You didn't force me. I willingly chose to be with you for the money. Although I didn't like you at first, I did feel wronged. But later I realized, you are actually very gentle, you just don't know how to express it in the right way. You accidentally hurt me and then clumsily tried to make it up to me. You spent so much money on me, even just to hold me, yet you still find ways to avoid me. Slowly, I started to like you. For 5 years, I've been looking for you. If I can't find you, I want to stand at the top of the stage so you can see me the moment you look up. I believe you will come back to find me. I've helped you reclaim everything from the past, and I've been waiting for you in the room. I believe you will come back. Sophia gazed at me firmly, her eyes seemingly conveying endless love. Every moment from the time I met her until now flashes through my mind like a movie. In the corners of the film, I see the signs of Sophia's love for me that I once missed. It turns out, I wasn't alone in the fog. She has always been by my side. I was caught off guard by this sudden happiness. I stood there, my mind completely blank. Sophia thought I still didn't believe her, and tears of grievance fell again. She walked towards me, handing me a bag she was holding. I wanted to give this to you before. This is my way of doing it. I opened the bag in confusion, and inside were various property deeds and stock certificates. Sophia bit her lower lip and pleaded. If you don't want to marry me, then I'll give you all this. Can you stay by my side? Even if it's just to let me see you. Looking into her watery eyes, I could no longer suppress my emotions and pulled Sophia into my arms. With all this money, are you going to take care of me? She said softly. Is that okay? I can earn more money for you. I chuckled and couldn't help but touzle her hair. As we held each other tightly, I felt an incredible sense of security and warmth that I hadn't felt in years. So this is what it feels like to have a tomorrow again. Sophia wanted to help me pay off my debts. I insisted on writing an IOU. After all, I didn't want our previous feelings to be misunderstood or strained by money. Debt-free, I started over from the ground up, quickly forming my own team and establishing a studio. With smooth progress, the studio expanded into a company and grew larger. 3 years later, I transformed into one of the hottest new talents in the industry. After the company's first round of financing was successful, I proposed to Sophia. I gave her the grandest fireworks and a ring that was 8 years late. She, just like 3 years ago, eagerly agreed to marry me. That's wonderful. Nothing has changed. After the wedding announcement, William made sarcastic comments online, saying that without his initial support, we wouldn't know how much longer we would have missed out. However, I think what he said is completely wrong. Getting back together was entirely our own effort, especially Sophia's. She made a coward strong again, she helped me grow flesh and blood anew. The wedding was held on the 15th anniversary of our relationship. In the first 5 years, we loved each other back to back. In the second 5 years, we missed each other. In the third 5 years, we finally came together. Please take care of each upcoming 5 years.